Hello and welcome back. Welcome to my channel, Daniela here from Through the Looking Glass. Today's video is going to be all about apps on my phone. Apps that I use to manage chronic illness. Technology has been revolutionizing how we live our lives, but especially in the health area, it has given us a lot of tools to manage chronic illnesses. Hundreds of apps are now available to help people manage their conditions. And today, this video is going to be all about my favorite apps that I use to manage my chronic conditions. Some of those apps I use directly to manage my conditions, such as tracking heart rate. Others is more like to deal with some of the side effects of those chronic illness, such as brain fog. I cannot remember anything, and so I rely so much on notes, reminders, calendars. So without further ado, let's get into it. I am not talking about in any particular order. I just use all of those every day. The first thing I do is organize all my health apps in a folder in the first page of my homepage. That way it makes it a lot easier for me to find when I'm looking for something, so I know all my apps are together in one folder. The first one I'm going to talk about is called Cardiogram. You do need a smartwatch or some sort of like fitness tracker such as Fitbit, something that will take your pulse. And I use it mostly for managing my POTS. I find that this is one of the best apps that tracks your heart rate continuously. The Apple Watch also has a heart rate tracker built in within one of its apps. I think it's called the Health app. However, it is not a continuous monitoring or tracking. It kind of records every maybe 3 minutes, I think, and it doesn't produce like a very sort of like accurate graphs. I think especially when I stand up, my heart rate goes very high very quickly within 1 minute. As you can see on the right side, it is more of a continuous graph. The lines are pretty close together, and on the left you can see that they're more like individual bars. There is a bigger gap there because I wasn't wearing the Apple Watch the whole time, but you can tell that even when I was wearing that, they're more individual bars rather than a continuous graph. Usually if I feel unwell, I'll sit down or I lay down, and therefore my heart rate goes down. And so if that happens within that 3-minute period, the Apple Watch will not catch that. And I really want to see throughout the day like how many times this is happening, and it just gives me a more accurate reading, a more accurate picture of what's going on. So I really like this app. I'm going to put my Apple Watch on. You want it to be tight enough so that the sensors are in contact with your wrist, but you don't want it to be too tight. And I'm gonna choose to do a continuous reading. So you can do both ways. You can have a continuous reading, or you can have it record every 3 minutes. Of course, recording continuously uses a lot more battery from both your watch and your phone. So if you're conserving battery, you might want to put it on the every 3 minutes, but I feel that I do have enough battery usually to get me through the day, so I usually leave it for continuously. Right now it's saying that my heart rate is 93, which makes sense because I'm sitting down. I know it is a high heart rate. Most people will have a resting heart rate of 60 to 70, and so 93 is actually quite high to just be sitting, but that's pretty average for me. The reason I love this app is because it gives you such a nice graph to compare and have a look at your day. It also has your resting heart rate. It shows you what the highest peak was during the day. It also tells you how many steps you took and also what your lowest heart rate was. Second one, let's talk about tracking medications. Of course, anybody who has chronic illness has a list of things they take. Even if you're not taking prescribed medications, the chances that you're taking some sort of like supplement or vitamin is very, very high. So you want to make sure that you keep track of how much you're taking. If you already taken something with my brain fog, oh my goodness, like how many times I'm like did I take this today already? Did I not take this already? Many medications have a max dose that you can take per day, so it's quite important to know if you have already taken and how much you have taken. So this medication track app is a lifesaver for me, and I really feel it's a matter of safety. Let's find it here. It's called My MedRec. It's very easy to set up. It has different categories here. You can have a list of your immunizations, you can have a tracking of blood pressure, allergy, a list of all your healthcare providers, personal information, notes, but then the two ones at the top, which are the ones that I rely on the most, is a list of medications or natural products, and then you click there and you add that yourself. And when you add, it will ask for the medication name, the dosage, the unit of the dosage, the route, how do you take it? It is a scheduled medication or as needed medication. Is it a current medication or is something that you took in the past? And you can take a picture of the medication, and that makes it very easy to identify the medication. If you're really on top of it and you record it right as you take it, it is super easy because then it stamps the time for you. It also produces a graph. It helps with an overview of compliance of the medications that you take regularly. And it also helps you have an idea how much you're taking of over-the-counter medications or as needed medications. Where's my symptom tracker? Okay, so Symptom Tracker. So this one is very customizable, which is I love about it. So you can actually make the list of every symptom that you want to track. I find that some symptom trackers you have to choose from a pre-selected list of symptoms, and I don't really like that because I have some very specific weird symptoms that I want to track. So I like to be able to input my own. So what I have here on my symptom tracker is I have migraine, muscle pain, widespread pain, cramps, stomach pain, nausea, rash, itchy skin, restless leg, and joint pain. By no means these are the only symptoms I get with my conditions, but these are the ones that I want to track and sort of establish a correlation between maybe weather, physical activities, my menstrual cycle, foods that I eat, and see if there's potential triggers for that. Another thing that I like about this app as well is that you can set a reminder at a time, usually let's say bedtime for me, and it will pop and say, have you tracked your symptoms today? And then I'll just go through the list and I will record every single one. If you're finding this information useful, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I make weekly content on chronic illness and life in general. The next one that I use is a migraine tracker. And even though migraine is part of my symptom tracker, because my migraines are so complex, there is a lot more that I want to track. I will go on the symptom tracker and I will say, yes, I had a migraine or not today. Every single day I say yes, and I will just choose the severity of the migraine. But on this Migraine Buddy app, it is much more thorough. So you can, with the click of a button, select when it started. So as soon as I start to feel any sort of symptom, I will just click start. And then it will ask the attack type. You can select don't know yet. You can say, yeah, definitely a migraine. You can say it's a tension headache, cluster headache, prodrome, which is those symptoms that you get before you actually can call it a migraine, but it has like a set of symptoms that you know it's gonna lead to a migraine. Postdrome, which is that hangover kind of feeling that you have after a migraine. And you can also add your own. So one of the things that I love about this app is that it's highly customizable. Everything you can add your own. Like I said, I feel like I have so many weird symptoms that I need to be able to customize. I need to be able to add my own. You can choose the pain intensity, and then there is a list of symptoms as well. It already comes with a list of symptoms, but then again, you can add your own. You can put location, where were you? Were you at home, at work, at school, out, at a a park, outdoors, again, highly customizable. And then there's this area, did you sense it coming? So there is also a list of things like such as fatigue, tingling in the neck, tingling in the head, visual disturbances, yawning, muscle stiffness, irritability, aura, lots of things, again, customizable. Then it links to the weather network. And so it will track pressure and it will warn you when there's pressure changes. This is amazing. And then there is another area that you can track, which is relief. So what makes it better? Going into a dark room, sleeping, ice packs, medication. Then there's an area for affected activities, missed work, missed social activity, missed school, missed family time, no screen, hard to concentrate, unable to read. These are just some of the examples. Again, you can add your own there. The downside is it's a paid app and it is not a cheap app. So I don't think it's something that I will keep for a long time, but I will probably do it for maybe 3 months so I can gather all that information and I can actually print a report to give it to my neurologist. Another app that is similar to this one and it's free is called Canadian Migraine Tracker. The only reason that I'm not keeping this one for now is because I don't find it as user-friendly. It's not bad, like you can get through, but it is not as customizable, and also I didn't find the easiest to kind of navigate, but it is doable. The next app that I have on my phone is a period tracking app. The one I have is called iPeriod, and especially for me that I am approaching perimenopause and my cycles are a little bit disorganized, and I used to have migraines related to my cycle. Now they're every day. I'm trying to see if there is a correlation of responding to the medication, because sometimes I don't respond to medication, and I want to find out if it has to do with hormones in my cycle. It's a super simple app. It is a free app. You can track symptoms, which are periods as well. You can track the flow of your periods. It is very easy to use. When you get your period, you just click plus and then you say start first day of your period, and then you can also record a bunch of symptoms there. If there was irritability, if there was cramp, anxiety, or headaches, or anything that you'd like to track as well, you can add those here. Then the next one is the Reminders app. That's the one that comes with the iPhone. I'm pretty sure Android phones also come with some sort of reminder app, and you can also download from the App Store. Basically, it's just a to-do list, a big to-do list. The way I organize mine is I divide them in different categories. I have work, I have things that I need to buy, urgent, home, and that's more of a running list, are things like, little DIY things that need to be done at home. Then I have a couple of lists that are standing lists, such as backcountry camping, car camping, and travel. Those are things that I always go to when I'm about to go traveling, and I want to make sure that I don't forget anything. I already have this master list. Then I have groceries, I have errands, and then I have one for each day of the week. So if there's particular things that I want to do during the week, I'll just sort of put under those. The nice thing about this to-do list is that all of the entries, you can actually set reminders and alarms that will pop up or actually ring an alarm, so that you don't forget what you need to do. Another app that I use a lot, of course, is the calendar, and that is to remind me of every appointment that I have, doctor's appointments. So I have different colors for different categories. I like to, for example, I have a color for, let's say, booked vacations, personal appointments. I have a color for doctor's appointments, and you can also set reminders with those. And it's a very easy, nice overview of what's coming. And I love that you can actually set several reminders. So you can put a reminder the day before, the morning of, an hour before, or when you need to leave the house. And that way you have no excuse to forget appointments. Another app that you wouldn't think to use for chronic illness management, it is the Weather Network. And why? Because I am highly affected by the weather. It is the single most important trigger to my symptoms. So knowing that there's pressure changes, knowing that there's cold front coming and that there is rain coming, it is very, very important to me because I can sort of plan accordingly. And then there is this new app that I recently downloaded, and it's called Chronically Signal. Now, I haven't really got into using it. I just sort of browsed and I started putting information in. And that is supposed to be the app of them all. It's supposed to be an app that combines your medication tracker, your reminders, your calendar, your symptom tracker, all within one app. I really like this idea. I have to test it out and I need to see how I like it. It is a lot of work to initially set up because there is a lot of information that you need to input, but I feel that once everything is there, it's going to be an amazing app. There is a medication tab, there is a symptom tracker tab, there is an expenses tab. That is amazing because it is insane how much money it costs to be chronically ill. Not all of the features are included in the free version. So the free version includes your medication tracker, your symptom tracker, your appointments, and your documents. And if you get the paid version, then you get the expenses and you get the wearable data. So your heart rate, your steps, and the other information that you can link. I really like the idea of this app of having everything under just one app. So those are my most used apps to manage my chronic conditions. I hope you enjoyed this week's content. If you have any apps that you use yourself that you find it helpful, leave a message in the comments below so that other people can try it as well. That's it for now e até a próxima.